Hey guys, it's Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire, and I have a cat magnet with me today. If you're interested in a cat magnet, well, sometimes it's called a keyboard. I like to call it a cat magnet. This is Maple, and she really is attracted by computers, any kind of technology, anything that's sensitive. She's interested in being involved in that, so maybe we can keep her at bay while we do this video. But what we are going to do today is I have a couple of videos here that I'm going to go back and look at because I hadn't done a video in a while, and I was doing a series with this and I kind of stopped doing them. But I think what I'm going to call this video is 1,000,000 years to retirement, because this is what it felt like when I first started teaching, was that it was going to take 1,000,000 years before I finally was able to retire. And so I'm going to do a reaction video to a couple of the videos. These are really short, that I did back when I was getting ready to retire. So let's look at the first one. The first one is about 3 minutes long. I'm not going to show the whole 3 minutes, but I'm going to show you one of the things that made it feel like 1,000,000 years. Day 6,142. Been talking a lot about the differences between old and young teachers, and this morning I wanted to talk about a technology that changed teaching fundamentally, made the biggest impact on my teaching and how I taught the entire time, my entire career. This was the big game changer. The whiteboard. Yeah, you younger teachers don't know what it was like before the whiteboard. Back when we had chalkboards, it was horrible. There were two kinds of chalkboards. You had the chalkboards that were all clean and nice, and then you had the old, dirty, nasty-looking chalkboards that were all... But I'm gonna tell you what, didn't matter what kind of chalkboard you had, they were hard to write on. And chalk was hard to write with. You had to turn it a certain way, and if you held it the wrong way, it would make that squeaking noise, and it would break, and it was like, and you had chalk dust in the air, and you had, I mean, in these old schools, man, you had asbestos, you had chalk dust, and you had all the other teachers smoking. It was a hazardous job. But now when the whiteboard came along, man, we wanted the whiteboards. We begged for the whiteboards. It wasn't like the computers. When they started coming out with the computers, hey, man, you want a computer in your room? No, I don't want a computer in my room. What am I going to do with it? Compute? You didn't have the internet. We didn't know what the internet was. We didn't want computers. Man, we wanted these. We wanted these. Now, that's no lie. When we got the whiteboard over the chalkboard, we were the happiest. I've never seen teachers so eager to embrace something new. Usually when something comes along, it's something new, they're like, we don't want it. Can't we just keep doing things? They're kind of set in their ways, kind of a thing, especially older teachers. But I don't care if they'd been teaching 100 years. When they got the opportunity to get a whiteboard over a chalkboard, they jumped at it. I mean, every teacher was like, give it to me. When can I get the whiteboard in my room? When can I get the color markers? When can I get I mean, we were so excited and so happy to get that. Now, the other technology, like computers, we had to force that on people. I mean, literally, they had to ask me 3 or 4 times before they forced me to have a computer in my room. This next video, I did a kind of a mock fun interview with a teacher that was a brand new teacher. She was a first-year teacher. And I remember when I was a first-year teacher, and you know, there were people that were like near retirement, stuff like that work with me. And I mean, if you told me, well, you just have 30 years till you retire, I mean, to me that might as well have been 1,000,000 years. I mean, I just could not imagine getting to the point, but I did. After 30, I did get to the point where I could retire. But the difference between when I started and when I ended was astronomical. I mean, it was from chalkboards to computers, you know. So that's a big swing in a 30-year. That's a short period of time. That's a big swing in a short period of time. So I'm having some fun here with a new teacher, kind of giving her a hard time in this interview. So let's see what we had to say here. Good morning. We are continuing to delve into the mind of the new teacher, the new school teacher versus the old school teacher. I have a teacher that we wanted to interview yesterday along with Miss Badisher, but I can only interview people that come to work. So let's just go ahead and ask. She had missed work the day before, and I was just letting her have it because she had missed work. But now I have said before, I didn't miss work. I really, honestly, the whole probably first 10 or 12 years I worked, I might have missed 2 days. We just did not miss work. And I'm not saying that if she's still teaching, I don't even know if she is teaching, that this is not just a dig at her, because she was sick. She just happened to be in the line of fire. It was too easy. You can't let easy targets go.
I was throwing up!
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. And let's go on to the questions. Question number 1. Are you prepared?
Yes.
Have you ever helped an old teacher cross the street?
I've helped a homeless person, but I've not helped.
You've never helped an old teacher cross the street?
No, not that I've noticed, or
okay.
Not to my knowledge.
All right, okay. Are you aware that there is such a thing as age discrimination?
Yes.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
So at what age would you think discrimination would start occurring? What age do you think is old? Like, where do you think age discrimination could occur? She didn't know. She didn't know, do I need to tread very carefully here, or is this all a joke? She didn't know how to take me. I had her so messed up, she didn't know what to do. It was all a joke. But that's a good thing. Usually when I'm joking, it is hard for people to tell. And that when you want to mess with people a little bit, that's a great attribute that I have. It can seem serious, but then it can also seem, is this a joke, or is he about to fire me?
I feel like this is a trick question.
You feel, I'm just asking you some questions. I wrote
Okay.
this piece of paper.
When do I feel like people start to discriminate against old people?
No, obviously they do all the time, but what I'm asking is,
What do I consider
what
old?
age would you consider to be old?
I would consider like
This is a tough one.
58.
Okay.
I'm assuming that was the wrong answer.
No, there's no right answer. There's no wrong or right answer. It's something like that. I'm just 58. 58 is old. I mean, who can fault her? Because, it's just a matter of perception. How old are you? I mean, I used to think people that were 30 were old. So, that kind of hurts my feelings, but we'll press on. Just curious. Have you ever made fun of older teachers in any kind of way? Just in general, maybe you and Miss Badisher made fun of any older teachers?
No!
Maybe at this school?
No!
No.
I do not spend my time degrading other people.
Are you aware that Miss Patterson, Miss Badisher, you are Miss Patterson.
I am Miss Patterson.
Otherwise, no, Miss Hamilton. Are you aware that I have been discriminated against? Is that funny to you? Are you aware that I have been discriminated against? Obviously, at this point, she knew it was a complete and total joke, because when I told her that I had been discriminated against, maybe hoping to get some kind of sympathy, she just laughed right in my face. I guess she didn't think I could get discriminated against. I did have a teacher, I'm not going to bring their name into this, but I did have a teacher say that I had one foot in the grave.
I did
3
not
days.
Is this person in this room? This person is in this
They
room.
did. Said I had 1 foot in the grave. They
Oh,
tried
God.
to come back and say that I had 1 foot out the door, but I know what they meant because when age discrimination is occurring to me, I can recognize that. I'm not so far gone that I don't even know what's happening to me. All right, last question. What is the biggest difference between young teachers and older teachers? Just interested in hearing. Why are you making a face?
I think there are a lot of differences. So,
It's a good start.
okay, I think there are a lot of differences, both good and bad. So I think I think I'm looking back to bad sure it's like safety net or something.
I got nothing to do with this.
I think the biggest difference between an old teacher and a new teacher is experience. I think that's the biggest thing.
You know,
Biggest difference.
I really
Experience.
prefer not to be called old.
Oh,
And I think that's one of those things we
a
talked about.
veteran
with
teacher,
age.
is that better? Is that a better
That probably
terminology?
sounds better, yeah. And I may have
Veteran
said
teacher.
old teacher myself, but I mean, I'm
You-
old
you
and
definitely
I don't
did.
understand a lot of politically correct things. I say them the wrong way. So that's probably my, you probably should have understood that. But that's okay. Well, so you're saying experience is probably.
I think experience.
Which obvious is an obvious answer, because when you're older you have more experience. But that's a good insight. So that will probably conclude our insight between young and old, inexperienced and experienced teachers in the workplace today. Wow, that was probably the worst answer ever. I gave her such a hard time. But we had a good time, and it's important when you work that you can sit down with the other employees, even if there's 30 years difference in your experience, and have a good time. And I did. I liked to have fun when I was at work, and because a lot of it was no fun, and I had to balance it out some. Your tax dollars paid for that. Little session there. I don't know what time we did it. I can guarantee you one thing. If I took some time out, had a little bit of fun like that, I worked way past the number of hours that most people would work on their job because we were salaried employees. That's what I always try to explain to teachers. That a lot of them had a really hard time understanding is you're not an on-the-clock employee. You don't get paid by the hour. You don't go in there and clock in and clock out and only work. Like we worked in my age teacher, worked until we got the job done. And if it took a lot more hours one week than it did another week, that's just the way it was because it was education. And we were salary, not hourly. Okay. But anyway, I don't know why I had to lecture you guys about that. Probably because that was a big deal to me. I worked as much as I needed to work. So anyway, Chris, just stop. Stop it, and let these people go. And you guys have a good time today. And I appreciate you watching Nichols Retirement Empire, looking back and having some fun with these old videos from before I retired.